What's going on, zombie fans? UnrealEntGaming here today presenting my review for The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 2, Strangers. Now, for those of you out there who actually, watched my first review on The Walking Dead Season 5 premiere, The Walking Dead actually kicked off its season very, very well, and of course, following up to this is Strangers. Now, Rick and his camp are actually just traveling through the forest, trying to find out, where they can hide out, where they can get food, and plan out their next attack. That way they can just keep on moving forward without losing anybody. So, during the night, we have Daryl and Carol just pretty much talking, and Daryl's pretty much talking to her about some stuff where he overhears some rumbling noises in the bush. Of course, the entire area cannot be filled with walkers because walkers, have actually been drawn to the Terminus site where it's been a tragic event where the entire place blew up and, of course, causing all the walkers to go there. So he actually overheard something and he just pretty much kept it to himself. He didn't know what it was, but he did feel as if he was being watched. The following morning, he was telling Rick, like, hey, man, I felt like I was being watched and stuff like this. And Rick is like, listen, man, we got to keep moving. And Rick is talking to Carol about how he owes his life and everything, above that as well, because, she saved everybody, So Rick feels like he's in debt, he owes her everything for that. So the camp is traveling, and then over that, they overheard somebody scream out for help. And then, Carl's looking at Rick, and he's like, Dad, we have to go help. And it looked like Rick didn't really want to help anybody. Rick was just like, Rick is slowly becoming Shane, like not caring about people, just caring about his own group, and that's it. So he was like, fuck it, let's go. So they go off and they find like this, this pastor, and he's about to get killed by these zombies, and then they just move on in, and the camp just completely butchered all of the zombies. And then the pastor was in absolute shock. He was just there, he was shaken, and then he finally stood up and he's like, my name is Gabriel. And Rick, everybody was just staring a hole at him, and Rick is just glaring at him. Rick is like, how many walkers have you killed? And the pastor said none. And then Rick said, how many people have you killed? And then the pastor said none. And then Rick said, why? Why haven't you done any of that? What are you hiding? And the pastor is really freaking scared. He's just like shook. He doesn't know what to say. And, Rick is patting him down right before the pastor asked, hey, do you have any food or whatnot? So the pastor asked if, anybody in the camp had any food. So Carl gave him some food, and then Rick was like, put your fucking hands up. And he started patting him down, checking him and whatnot to see if he had any weapons. And then the pastor's like, hey, listen, I have a church. And then, Rick is like, do you have a camp? And the pastor says no. And as, they agreed to follow the pastor to the church, the pastor started making, some really sarcastic remarks like, oh, maybe I'm a liar. Maybe I'm just leading you into a trap where I can just take all your supplies. And then everybody stopped in their tracks looking at him very, very angry. And then he was like, I'm just kidding. My camp, when I had one at the church, they loved my sarcasm. I'm sorry if I offended anybody. So they finally get to the church, and they're starting to clear everything out. Rick and Daryl are inside. They're trying to see if there's any walkers in his church or if he's hiding something. So they go on about, they find all these books, Genesis, talking about, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth and stuff like that. So, the pastor's like, I don't condone violence. The Lord doesn't condone violence. I am a Christian, and I don't believe in that stuff. So, if, by all means, I was hiding in this church this entire time. And, Rick is like, how? How have you been hiding without, any weapons and food? And he's like, I'll show you. So, pretty much, Gabriel leads Rick, to a place where, there's a food bank, and the food bank is pretty much a place where people were getting food and whatnot. So it was very, very interesting. So they get to the food bank and whatnot, and they notice that, there's a bunch of walkers, like in a ditch underneath the actual store. So they had to go on ahead and get the food without, falling into the hole or whatnot. It was absolutely like, one of those moments where it's like, oh shit, what are they going to do now, So they drop down, they try to collect the food, and of course Gabriel panics. He's about to get eaten by a walker, and Rick has to save his life. Obviously, he was in fear, he was in cower. He couldn't even defend himself. He was pretty much slowing the entire camp down. But nonetheless, they still got the food, and they came back to the actual church, and they're all setting up and whatnot. So to pretty much sum this up, everybody's in the church, everybody's having a good time, and one of the gentlemen there proposed that they have to go to Washington because Eugene pretty much had information on infrastructure that can actually support and withstand an apocalyptic scenario. They have food, they have diesel, they have energy, they have water, they have supplies. So he pretty much pitches to the entire camp, on this very chilly evening, that if they don't go to Washington, that everybody is going to be doomed, and why not have, a brand new start, reset everything, and make this world habitable for the living again. And he told everybody that, it's fine to be a survivor if you want to wake up every day and just do the same thing, kill, scavenge for food, sleep with one eye open and then repeat, you know what I'm saying? So pretty much he pitched to the entire, crowd, I guess you could say, that he needs to go to Washington and find this cure and wipe out the dead. And Rick agreed, everybody agreed, everybody's having a good time, everybody's eating actually all the food that they brought back from the shelter. Rick walks on over to Father Gabriel, and he tells Father Gabriel, listen, man, I know you're hiding something. I know you're hiding something, and these people are my family, and if you happen to so hurt my family, I will kill you. And, Father Gabriel is just looking at him in shock. He's like, okay. And then we see Carol outside, preparing this car for some unknown reason. She's doing her thing and the walker appears. She kills the walker and then she gets startled by, footsteps, and Daryl happens to emerge from the darkness and he asks her, what are you doing? And she's like, I don't know. And, Daryl's like, let's just come back inside, And the next thing you know, they hear this car, and this car just zooms on by, and Daryl's like, holy shit, what the fuck? That's one of the church's cars. We have to, so he breaks the lights of the car just so it doesn't emit, light. And Daryl goes off to find and, these people or whatnot, just go chase them down because they could be a threat. And then the next thing you know, we have Bob, who's sitting outside, who actually, fell inside of the store as they were getting food by a walker, and he's just standing by the tree and he's looking at the church while everybody's inside eating, and he sees the fire that's inside the church, and he's just wondering to himself, what the hell is going on. Then he begins to cry, and the next thing you know, he gets knocked out and pretty much wakes up to find out that the cannibals are back, and the leader of the cannibals is pretty much telling him, listen, man, we're human beings, we have to evolve, but in certain situations like this, your people and your camp have taken away our home, which pretty much made us de-evolve and devolve into what we are now. And you know what? It couldn't have been everybody. I wanted to spare your life. I never wanted to kill you. I never wanted to kill any of you, but sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. And then the next thing you know, he's eating his leg. He looks back and, his entire camp of cannibals is eating his left leg. And then, he looks at, Bob, who's just there panicking, and he looks at Bob and he goes, wow, you taste much better than I thought you would taste, and the episode just cuts from there. So the cannibals are back. They're on the hunt this time. They're looking for Rick, and they're looking to eat. They're looking to feed, and it looks like this is just going to end off in a big clusterfuck of epic battles because, you're going to have these cannibals chase and want to kill Rick and whatnot in his entire camp based off of what they did. So literally, it's a life and death situation. So I really hope that you guys would go on ahead and check the episode out. I would give the episode a 3 out of 5. It was very, very good, great storytelling and whatnot. But nonetheless, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below pertaining to Walking Dead season 5, episode 2, The Strangers. Thank you all for watching, everybody. Once again, if you guys are Walking Dead fans, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for all latest news, information, and updates. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit it up with a like and a favorite. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you guys think the cannibals are going to take down next? Who do you guys think is going to get eaten? Do you guys think the cannibals are going to die? Let me know in the comment section below, everybody. Thank you all for watching once again. Stay tuned for more, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.